Steve Comalander with you. I just dropped out and caught one, and I got another one on. I want to get this one in for you. A big old slab crappie. Slab crappie here in Monticello Lake. We're on Lake Monticello again. And I got the bite and I turned the camera on. I want to show you what I just caught out here. Water's high. Look at it. Look at the size of that crappie. Ain't that a pretty one? Ain't that a pretty one? Let's see what size he is. That's a 14-inch crappie right there. 14-inch female crappie just hit. We out fishing on the old creek turn again. I fished in there shallow and didn't get a bite, so I said, you know what? I got to move back to the creek turn. And I got out here. I caught a perch, and I wanted to show you the two crappies. I just caught that one for you, and right before that, look what I just caught. Two beautiful crappies, Lake Monticello in the creek turn. You got to love it. I'm telling you, it's slow, but I see them down there, so we're gonna sit here and try to catch them. There's some nice ones out there, but they're hard. They're not really wanting to bite. So we're gonna aggravate these fish till they bite. I'm telling you, you can catch them, just got to aggravate them until they bite. Let me adjust this camera a little bit for you, and maybe get it up a little higher. There you go. All right, let's see if we can catch a couple more. Monticello crappies on a Tuesday morning. Went to Lake Murray yesterday, caught a few rockfish, one big old crappie. Had a fairly good day there. Nothing really to brag about, but it was okay. Caught the best fish. So I decided to come back to Monticello today, and I'm going to aggravate these fish. I see a lot of fish out here on the bottom, and I think the crappies getting ready to come on in here and spawn. And the water's high this morning. Everything's looking good. And I thought they was going to be on the bank, so I started off casting the bank. I went over there with my little cart deal on the dock, didn't catch nothing. So I said, you know what? I'm going to cast the bank. And I trolled all the way down through there, and I cast all the way back, and I didn't catch a fish. So I come out here in the deep water on the creek turn, dropped down and caught a perch and then them two crappies. So that tells me that the crappies is hanging out here in the middle of this creek. And it's going to take time. They're not going to eat it up. But we're going to drop down here and try to catch a few. I think maybe they might just be getting ready to spawn out here in about 15, 25 foot of water. Unless they're waiting out here to push up on the bank. But those two females are out here. Now the males might be on the bank making the beds. And that could be it. And the females are still hanging. Oh, that was nothing. I missed it. Doggone it. He hit it. I just didn't jerk quick enough. Talking too much. But I think the females are probably hanging out here deeper, ready to run up when the eggs get right, and the males is probably up shallower. That's what I think. But now I didn't catch anything shallow, so you know, I'm just assuming. But you know, it's all about figuring these fish out. You never know. What I thought would be an ideal day for them to be on the bank, I couldn't get them. I didn't catch a fish. And then that's the reason I come back out in the deeper water. So you got to be able to change up and change your thoughts and see where you might can go to catch one. And I did. I pulled out here and I've caught two nice crappies. So I believe that if I just hang around out here and just work it real slow, I believe I can catch a few more. But you never know. But it's going to be slow now, I'm telling you. This lake is not a fast crappie lake anymore. I don't think we got the amount of crappies in it. If they are not biting like they used to. And you just got to be a better fisherman now to catch them. And you're not going to catch a lot of them. But I think the key is taking your time and catching them. I see fish. It's fish all up under here. There goes one right there. That's a perch. A little perch ain't nothing to that. That thing's tiny. Tiny. Took my mellow. Tiny perch. But I think the key is to take your time and target it and try to zero in on them and make them bite. I think they're there. I think they're just not biting. That's what I think. I might be wrong, but I think they're there. I just think they're real sensitive, and unless that thing sits in front of his nose for a little bit, he ain't gonna bite it. That's what I think. So the old fisherman doing what he loves to do. Back here, trying to catch a couple of crappies in Lake Monticello. the place I love so much. On a beautiful day for fishing, I think, cloud cover, just rain, wind's gonna get up, the water's high this moment, it might drop, I don't know, but it's high, where I've always said I wanted it. Now let's see if I can catch any fish with it high. In the years past, you could come out here when the water's high like this time of year, right here, the last of March, 1st of April, and just catch crappies casting the bank and just have a wonderful time. It just ain't like it used to be. And I think maybe the reason for it is the clear water conditions. In clear water conditions, they'll hang out a little deeper. And I've said it before, the clearer the water, the deeper the fish. And they'll run in at night, maybe. But the water's in the 60s this morning. It definitely ought to be fish biting. And they're there. I see them, and they can't lie to me. I see them. Now, they might not all be crappies. They might be a mixture of perch and crappies and catfish. But I see droves of fish coming through here. So really, I think if we just take our time and work this creek channel out here back and forth, zigzagging, real slow, we will catch a few fish. But it's going to be slow. It's going to be real slow. But that's what we're doing today, and I'm going to take my time in this creek, and I got another cove around there I'm going to go to after a while and see if there's any in there. And between these two coves, that's where I'm going to fish today. Wind's going to get up, so I doubt I go out any different coves. It's these two, and I'm going to work them, and I do see fish. It's just a matter of getting one to bite it. Jiggling it right in front of his nose and making him bite it. It's what it is. We're just going to work back and forth in circles and come along a swing, and we're going to swing these jigs around here and just thoroughly fish this area. Because now I found out there's a couple here. Where there's two, there's more. Promise you. Where there's two, there's more. And I think we can catch a few more. But like I say, it's going to be slow, and it's going to take all day to do it. All morning. And you know, if I catch 10 or 12, I'll probably be done good. But listen, 10 or 12 crappies that size is pretty nice. 14 to 16 inch crappies. I caught one yesterday, over 16 in Lake Murray. And it was a male crappie. That was a big old black war paint on it. He was black, soot black. And it's fun catching them jokers. It's fun catching these big crappies. It's fun to me catching any fish. You know I love it. So, but anyhow, there's fish down here. Just got to get them to bite. Right there, I see 2 or 3 just come through. Just come through. I think maybe I got to pull it in circles and make it swing. Like I always said, that circle swing and aggravate them a little bit, make a different approach, and make it look like it's changing directions, and he'll get mad at it and bite it. That's what I think will happen. We just sit here and swing this thing. I'm going to keep the trolling motor in a circle, and it'll just swing that daggone jig and make it look like he's running from him. And we're going to see what happens. Might get you dizzy looking at it, get me dizzy riding in it, but it's a good way to fish at times. And they will hit it with a changer like that. Man, it's just a perfect, ideal weather condition. It's just ideal. You got to love it when it's like this. Overcast. And they might be scattered out on the bank. And when they scattered out, that's a lot of places they can be. You got little stumps and roots and logs laying along the edge of the bank, and that might be where they at. I might have to go in a searching mode till I find them on the bank. And it might take a lot of casting. They're liable to be in one little section, 10 foot, like brim bedding on the bank. And unless you throw it in that area, and then if they don't want to bite, you might pull it right by them and not catch him. So right there is fish all over the bottom, and they are definitely, in my mind, crappies. I mean, in my mind, they're crappies. I'm convinced they're crappies. They just ain't hitting. That's the problem. That's the problem. Right there's fish. Right there on that creek turn is fish. My goodness. It's funny how you catch one or two and it just quit. There's no doubt if you had an underwater camera, you'd see them laying down there. They'd be just laying down there and just waiting for something to aggravate them, I guess, to bite. Don't know. All I know is I see them and they not bite. I see them and they're not bite. Slow going. Every trip this year been over here has been slow going. You catch one ever so often. It's not sitting and hammering them, that's for sure. It's not like white perch fishing in the winter. Nothing's like that. Of course, them catfish now, when they get to biting, they get like that. That's fun, and that'll be in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we can catch a few shell crackers, big shell crackers, they show you them. But that's gonna be a couple of weeks, I think. Might have to get some night crawls and try them shell crackers before a couple of weeks. Crappies don't start participating. I cannot believe I'm not getting a bite. I just can't believe it. It blows my mind. I'm looking at fish like that, knowing they're there, knowing that they're down there, looking at it and not biting. I don't understand it. Right, there's a whole school of them. I mean, a whole school on the bottom. There was one. Oh, I missed it. Oh, go a little quick. That was a fish though. Took that minnow. Took that minnow. Put nothing on that. No, big. Oh my God. I like a smaller minnow if I'm a tip of jig. This is a little large. I tell you what, this crap is all under there. They are all under there. You just got to make them bite. They can't fool me. I see them. What? Oh, going in. What kind he is? I believe it's a crappie. Yeah, he's a crappie. It's a crappie. Big one too. A big one. Look at that. Look at that. See what I mean? I know they're crappies. They can't fool the old fishermen. I know they're crappies. I just got to take my time. Look at that. Look at that. Another female. I just got to take my time is what I got to do. And that's what we're talking about. Taking your time. I'm going to try to catch one more for you, but it's going to be slow. And I get about 13 minutes in this video. It took me 13 minutes to catch two. But hey, that's the way it's going to be. I got to accept the fact it's going to be slow and take my time. If you get in too much of a hurry, you will not catch them. They're not aggressive. That's for sure. They are not aggressive. When that jig pulls over where he's at real slow, whenever in fact, my bail was clipped. And I seen him bump it when I jerked. The line let out, and how I caught him, I don't know, because he stayed on it long enough to until I set the hook, and that's unusual for jig fishing. He hit that thing and went to jerk, and my bail, I lost track of what I was doing with that rod, and the bail was open. And when I jerked it, it didn't even set the hook, and then I clicked it and jerked again and caught him. So that was luck, is what that was. That won't happen again like that. Normally you miss them when you don't jerk immediately. Almost like you was biting a minnow. But see, we were pulling it around a circle, and that's what you got to do. You got to keep swinging these jigs in a circle. There you see that? See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? You got to make them bite. They down there. Now that's a smaller one. No, that's a perch. That's a white perch. So the white perch are moving back in along with the crappies. And we're gonna sit here, and I'm not gonna move. I'm probably gonna stay right in this area and fish it real thoroughly and catch these fish. That's what we're gonna do. And swing these jigs till they bite. That's what we're gonna do today. Lake Monticello, once again. I didn't come over here. I hadn't been over here since Thursday, and it's Tuesday, so it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. This is the 5th day. It's been 5 days since I've been over here. And I know there was probably a lot of people over here on the weekend. But unless they know what they're doing, it's a chance they didn't catch them. I'm going to tell y'all folks, you can come over here, but you're probably going to, if you come into a strange lake, I have problems when I go to a place I haven't been fishing. You got to basically find them, and then you got to convince yourself that they're there. You got to know how to read the fish finder and see if they're there. If you don't know how to do all that stuff, then you're not going to get on them and leave the plug in the strike zone long enough to catch them. It'd just be luck, unless you really get lucky. I don't think you're going to have good luck over here. Now, anybody can come over here and get lucky. I ain't going to say that, but on an average day, not knowing really how to look at a fish finder and tell what's on there with experience and what you're looking at, and then being able to target and get on them and hang around and catch them, without being able to do that and without being able to get it in your mind that the fish are there, it's going to be real difficult unless you stumble on some. And then once you stumble on them, you hang around that same area, you might catch a few. But they're not thick enough to group up enough to catch a lot of them. I don't think, not anymore. And there's fish all down there. Listen, they coming through, and there's plenty of fish down there. So there's no doubt that I'm gonna have to hang around right here and try to make these fish bite today. And it's gonna be slow, but you got to take your time. You got to take your time, and you got to believe that you're gonna catch them. You don't believe you're gonna catch them, you ain't gonna catch them. But to believe you're gonna catch them, you got to have confidence in what you're doing. And that's hard to do. It's hard for me to do. And I know it's hard to go on a strange lake and don't know anything about it. So just because y'all watch me catch a few fish out here, it might not be so easy. It might not be worth the drive. I don't know. I do know this. You got to work for them. I do know that. If you don't take your time and put it on them, and I'm experienced enough with this fish finder that I know what I'm looking at. And I know it's crappie down there. And they just don't want to bite. But it's been like that every time I come this year. Catch a few, and then you got to struggle. Catch one here and one there. There was another bite, and I missed it. See, he didn't hit it till I started pulling that line the other way. Pulling it the other way. Now you can keep changing colors of your jigs, and that might make a difference sometimes. And then sometimes it won't. So I tell you, it's tough. Try to catch one more. I see them. They're there. It's fish all down there. The water I'm fishing in is 20 to 24 foot deep. And the fish are laying right all over that bottom. In there. They're all over that bottom. I mean, there's plenty of fish. It looks like groups of shad coming through also. All types. What I'm going to do is I'll just work this whole area, and when I make a circle and come back, maybe it'll surprise them again. I can catch a couple more. So I'm not sitting on one spot. Although it's a good spot right back there on that creek turn, I'm trying to move up and down this creek turn till I get on something that'll bite. That's what I'm trying to do. And you never know where the old crappie will be laying down there. You know, you got that ditch running in there. Off that ditch, you probably got a few stumps and humps and on that drop. So they could be laying anywhere out there. And just about the whole time I'm looking at that fish finder today, I'm seeing fish. I mean, they are really moving, but they're not really biting. A lot of fish in here hanging. And there might be periods during the day that they'll pick up biting better. They might have fed all night long and they're not hungry. There's a good chance that's what happened, because the water probably pumped in last night, and that put them in a feed, I'm sure. And it's kind of cloudy, so this little deeper water out here, really, if the sun out in the deeper water, if the sun's shining, it's a little bit better. But it's kind of cloudy, which I always like cloudy days when I'm fishing shallow. What amazes me with the water high, that they not, and they could be, like I say, scattered, but they're not against the bank. I would have thought they'd have been in 5-7 foot of water up against the bank there, is what I'd have thought. It's just slow fishing, that's all it is to it. Slow fishing. Well, that's the way crappie fishing is this time of the year. After the spawn, they'll group up and feed just like bass and anything else, and they'll get on these brush piles and anywhere from 12 foot to 30 foot, and you got your mayfly lavas. A mayfly is like a worm most of its life, and then once it hatches out, that worm floats to the top, and the mayfly hatches out, and he flies off, and he only lives one day after he hatches out. And the whole period of time while it's developing, this old black looking worm on the bottom, and that's what these fish, these crappies go back to feeding on after they spawn, is mayfly larvas. And then of course the larvas hatch out in June. They call them mayflies, but most of the time it's June is when they start hatching. And they eat, that's what their primary food is, the little bugs and mayfly larvas on the bottom. And they get around brush. And the crappies, they go to these brush, and that's what they feed on. When you catch a crappie after the spawn, when they feed on mayfly larvas, there'll be just gobs of black mayfly larvas in the bellies where they've been eating them. That's why at that point I go to a little skinny jig, almost looks like a larva instead of looks like a minnow, and that's what I use then for crappies, skinnier type jigs, like a worm jig. But it's getting kind of long in the video, and I'm gonna pull back over this creek turn one more time and see if we can pick one more up before I let you go. But I got to let you go. These videos, I did get back on Time Warner cable, thank God. I went to AT&T, and the internet speed was so slow, and I had so much trouble. I didn't last AT&T but two weeks. I had to go back to Time Warner cable, the internet, which is Spectrum now, and so much better. I can upload a video now that was taking me 4 to 5 hours with AT&T in 20 minutes, 15 minutes. So you people out there that are thinking about going to AT&T, you better think twice, unless you live right there where the fiber optic cable is, because they sure didn't produce, and it was just aggravation the whole time. It was just a pain, and I am so happy to be back with what they call Spectrum now instead of Time Warner. But internet speed is so much better, and so much better service. My goodness, I know you probably people out there saying Time Warner hadn't been good to me, but if you want to have trouble, go to AT&T. You really got trouble there. That's my opinion. I had to get away from them. I couldn't stand it. Every time I'd call customer service, I just couldn't get any results. I mean, it was awful. Then what broke it all was during the Carolina basketball game on Friday. They cut my service. I had to listen to it on the radio, and I said, that's it. I went straight to Time Warner and Spectrum and got hooked back up with them, and I was so happy to be back with them, I'll tell you that. But what a relief. It's pressure off of me, because it was nothing but pressure for 2 weeks I was on AT&T with the runaround I was getting. They sold me the stuff telling me I'm going to have faster service. They outselling this stuff, but they can't produce it. They didn't prove anything to me. Just telling it like it is. My opinion. All right, Crappies. We need a crappie to bite. We've caught three nice crappies. Hey, I'm happy to catch 3, but I'm gonna have to let you go. It's getting too long video. And but anyhow, we've actually got 3 nice crappies. I'll hold them up for you one more time. And boy, 2 of them are slabs. One of them's a medium size. Neither one of them bad. Let me tell you, neither one of them bad. But the old fisherman doing what he loves. And there's 3 more Monticello slab female crappies. Look how thick that baby is. Them's nice crappies. Them's nice crappies. I might not catch another. I haven't been catching a lot, so I make it. I turn it on when I'm catching a few, but I haven't been catching a lot. I'm struggling. Hey, but I'm still catching a mess to eat. The old fisherman doing what he loves. Lake Monticello. Once again, I'll see you on the next video. See ya.